on the show now to analyze these numbers. Sandeep, it looks like it's a second consecutive quarter of an all-round beat. You were calling for very strong growth numbers. So I guess the numbers are in line with your estimates, but it is ahead of what the consensus expectations were. What could possibly drive this kind of a performance? And the stock already did well today. It was up 3%. It's trading above the 3100 mark. Do you see more upside just in the near term?
So see, I think I missed the estimates, now actuals by just 10 basis points. We were anticipating 4% constant currency growth. They reported 4.1. On EBIT, we were highest on the street at 26. They did much better than us also. And I was anticipating it can beat in our estimate also. And I've written that in our note also that, our estimates are most aggressive and they will beat comfortably our numbers also. And it will happen for all the companies. Let me put that thing first. I am not at all surprised. And I will not be surprised for next 10, 12, 14 quarters. They will, all companies in tech sector, barring one or two, will surprise everyone quarter after quarter, because this is a huge tech upcycle. Neither the management nor the analyst can capture the upcycle in exact form. That is what my sense is. This is a very good quarter, and this strength will continue. You have to remember that from next quarter onwards, all the large deal numbers will also start flowing in. So I think I am not at all surprised with such a good set of numbers. Let me put it this way. But I think there is a lot of upside. Every quarter, I believe 8-10% returns in the IT sector will happen when the numbers come, and every time the reason of surprises will be different.
What is your own EPS estimates, and considering that your estimates were anyway ahead of consensus and on margins, the company's beaten your own expectations, what is the EPS that we're looking at now for FY22, and what could be the extent of upgrades just post this quarter?
So see, we have little challenge in FY22 numbers because our currency estimates comes from our economist. But having said so, I think it will be 103 around number. And but the key will be FY23, and in my view, FY23 this company will easily post 115 to 118 rupees earnings, which is much higher than what Street is anticipating as of today, and there could be even upgrades to that. Remember, we are only building 14 to 16% dollar revenue growth for the industry and 18-20% EPS growth, which does not include any uptick in the core capex of BFSI, and that is what we are getting as new input in last 45 days from global experts that global banks have started spending in core capex. If that comes, you must add 3-4% to overall revenue growth for the industry and at least 6-7% to the EPS of the industry. So then you will be looking at 17-18% revenue growth and 20-23% EPS growth for the industry for at least next 3 to 4 years.
Okay, some more internals, for our viewers. The dollar revenue growth this quarter has come in at 5.1%. The company says this is the best third quarter performance that they've seen in the last 9 years. Remember, we're comparing it to Q3s of the prior year because Q3 is seasonally weak, which is why usually growth rates are depressed, but not this time. There is that COVID-induced acceleration in technology spend, which is driving the best quarterly growth rate for the company in the last 9 years. 5.1% in dollar terms, dollar revenues, and in constant currency terms, it's a growth of 4.1%. And the positive is that the company is back to a year-on-year growth in constant currency terms. So their constant currency year-on-year growth stands at 0.4%. This was the company's expectation in Q4. In Q4, the company had expected that they will be flat on a constant currency basis year-on-year, but they've managed to advance it by 1 quarter, which means this performance is definitely ahead of the company's own expectations. So that is another positive. Their attrition continues to trend lower. Even in the last quarter at 8.9% or 8.6%, I think it was at a record low. And this quarter, it's come down even further to 7.6%. So it's a new all-time low in terms of attrition at 7.6%. I'm just reading out the statement that's coming in from the management, Rajesh Gopinathan, the CEO and Managing Director. Growing demand for core transformation services and strong revenue conversion from our earlier deals have driven a powerful momentum that has helped us overcome seasonal headwinds and post one of our best performances in a December quarter. We are entering the new year on an optimistic note, our market position stronger than ever before, and our confidence reinforced by continued strength in our order book and deal pipeline. Again, a very confident sounding Rajesh Gopinathan. He's adding, looking beyond the immediate business growth opportunities, we are tremendously excited by what lies ahead. Cloud is enabling a new class of boundaryless organizations solutions that can seamlessly partner and collaborate within a larger ecosystem to create an innovative, purpose-driven offerings to our customers. These boundaryless value creation supported by the seamless fabric of our technology enabled by cloud. He goes on to talk about, the big upside on account of cloud. Let me see what the statements that's coming in from N. Ganapati Subramaniam, NGS, as he's fondly called, the COO and Executive Director at TCS. Our Q3 growth is a very satisfactory outcome of our ability to leverage the proactive investments made to capture the strong demand and meaningful to our clients. It is a strong endorsement of our resilience, the way of working and the relative competitiveness of our products and services. So that is a statement from NGS. We've had healthy deal closures and our growth has been broad-based on a sequential basis, setting ourselves well for the future. V. Ramakrishnan, the CFO, says our strong growth across all verticals, operational benefits have allowed us to post the highest operating margin in the last 5 years. So please note that growth this quarter is the best that we've seen in the December quarter in the last 9 years, and margins at 26.6% is the best that we've seen in the last 5 years, and this is even after rolling out a salary increase this quarter. We've had an all-time high cash conversion in Q3. This and our strong balance sheet position us very strongly to seize the opportunities that the current market offers and more closely partner with our customers in their growth as well as transformation journeys. Let me just try and understand. Manufacturing has done very well, 7.1%. BFSI growth is 3%. Life sciences 5.2%. Communication 5.5%. Retail and CPG at 3.1%. All this is on a quarter-on-quarter basis. On a year-on-year basis, life sciences is double-digit. BFSI is 2.4% on a year-on-year basis. So it looks like an across the board a strong performance by TCS. For those of you who've just tuned in, TCS has delivered a beat on revenues and margins. Dollar revenue growth 5.1%, ahead of expectations of 3.2%. Constant currency revenue growth at 4.1%. Again, north of what this consensus expectations were, the best that we've seen in the last 9 quarters when it comes to a December performance. Margins at 26.6%, expanding despite the impact of a full quarter of wage hikes, and the best that the company's enjoyed in the last 5 years, and it's put the company's margins back in their aspirational margin band of 26 to 28%. It's an all-round strong performance. Most of the, all the verticals have grown for the company on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The attrition is at an all-time low of 7.6%, and the management is very, confident sounding. They are saying that the base is actually set for for the base for the new year is actually looking quite good, because they are entering the new year on an optimistic note. Urmil Shah of IDBI Capital is also with us. Urmil, what have you made of the numbers?
So Reema, clearly there is absolutely no complaint as regards the Q3 performance. There is while the revenue beat, of course, is good to see, but the margin beat, especially given the impact of the salary increase, also the ramp up of the large deals, clearly demonstrates TCS's ability of world-class profitable growth. So this is a good beat across the board. And more importantly, looking at the commentary, Q4 also should be at least a 2% plus kind of QOQ growth over this quarter. This would place TCS at extremely strong position to deliver a double-digit growth in FY22, which we believe would be very positive for the company.
What is the read-through, Sandeep, for the other IT companies? And have you had a chance to look at the internals in terms of verticals, geographies, any takeaways?
I think, not much of chance, because I am continuously, responding to some queries from the client. But the attrition number is very encouraging. The margin numbers are very encouraging. And also the performance broadly, which I have seen across geographies and vertical, they are quite encouraging. And again, I would reiterate that you have to remember that the worst is behind us now, both in the form of pandemic, also in the form of the weakest quarter seasonally for the year. So now we have only good times ahead. So, I think from next quarter, we will not only have a tailwind of more number of working days, but also a lot of deals which we have won in last 2 quarters, that will start flowing in. And now one last point I would like to again, reiterate, which I have been reiterating for last 8-9 months, that, this is a very, very big tech upcycle, and in technology, nothing could be implemented in 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. It is always 12 to 16 quarters at least. So you will see very high growth for the whole industry and good players for next 12 to 14 quarters, both on margin and growth. And also the kind of sales which hyperscalers are doing, 1.5 times of that will flow into services at some point of time. So the only player in the market are only 8-10 good players, out of which 2 are struggling. So everything boils down to balance 7-8 players. So, while the growth numbers which I am talking today may look very aggressive, I will not be surprised even if those numbers are beaten down very comfortably. That is all I would say for every player in the industry.
Sandeep, what is your expectation of TCS's growth in the fourth quarter? Because it will have the benefit of the 2 large deals that they had announced in this quarter. That's the Postbank's system as well as the Pramerica. So what could be the growth rate for Q4?
So, it will be very premature to comment on that. I will do my working properly again, and I will be able to, give, correct number by, beginning of Feb or mid of Feb, because, there are a lot of moving parts, how clients are coming back. And again, we have second wave. So it will be very premature to comment on that number. But I can only tell you that the worst is behind us. What you have seen in this quarter probably will be the lowest growth you will see for next few quarters.
Okay, this, despite 4.1% constant currency growth could be the lowest growth that TCS may post in the next few quarters. Urmil, would you be upgrading your EPS estimates for FY22 as well as FY23 post this performance? And has the stock already run up in anticipation of these numbers? Because it's been strong for the last few days.
Yeah, so we currently are factoring in a EPS of about 101 for FY22 and 113 for FY23. We believe that there is clearly a scope of a 4 to 5% upgrade from this level. Of course, we would want to hear what is the management commentary both on the growth and especially on the margins. Because we need to keep in mind that with the salary increase being there in this quarter at 26.6% margin, there is clearly a good runway for it to be maintained for FY22 as a whole. So keeping that into perspective, I would say that there is at least a 4 to 5% room for earnings upgrade. And as regards the valuation, we have seen that not just in tech, but across all the sectors, companies which are beating expectation on growth and the outlook is positive, even though the multiples are expensive, they continue to become more expensive. So while we have valued it at 28 times at the current price, we won't be surprised that if they deliver such growth, it may even go upwards of 30 times over the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay, bear in mind that while TCS has done well, it's moved up nearly 40% in the last 1 year, it's still underperformed its peers like Infosys, which in the same period of the last 12 months has moved up 80%. That said, TCS continues to remain the most expensive IT stock in terms of valuations, and currently it's trading at 30 times FY22 earnings and about 27.5 for FY23. Sandeep, just one last word as we await the management commentary. What would be the key to track and hear from them? What would you like to hear?
So I would like to, have more color on what they are doing on the cloud side. They already said last time that they have set up a team which will, work with each of the hyperscalers. So I want more color on that, because I think the biggest re-rating for the Indian IT industry or this Indian IT companies will depend on how they are dealing with the hyperscalers. Hyperscalers are right now selling, cloud left, right, and center, and they need someone to implement it. They need someone to, service it. So I am very keenly observing that development, because that development will change the whole game for Indian IT industry. It will be a very big thing in my view.
Thank you, gentlemen, Urmil as well as Sandeep, for joining in. In moments from now, the TCS top management will be addressing the media and answering all our queries. But for those of you who've just joined in, Q3 earnings season has started with a bang.